What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA Show. We are on Friday, December 27th, one of the last shows in 2024. We have our next show on Monday, and that will pretty much be it for 2024. We've had a series of videos that came out this week. I was talking about my favorite three journalists of 2024. We talked about our favorite three fights of 2024, both me and Justin. We did a whole 2024 year-end show last week, which was super cool. But we're winding down, and of course, during this time, we're in that lull period, right, where there's no MMA fights really on the horizon, not until January 11th. But there's some super cool stuff coming up on January 11th. Maybe not the main title fight, maybe not the the names that we might recognize on the card, but there's a fighter that is debuting who's a sick fighter. He was actually supposed to fight your boy Tommy Two Guns. What's his name?
You're talking about Austin Bashi? Yeah, you're supposed to fight Tommy McMillan.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Tommy McMillan, who we saw fight in Fusion Fight League. Yo, Austin Bashi is insane, dude. He's so good. I'm gonna show some clips and some footage. I sent it to you guys earlier, but this dude, Leos, you can't shoot this. This dude is the real deal. He is amazing. What's up, Celine? So good to see you. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. I'm also gonna show some videos. One of the ways that I kind of used to get into mixed martial arts was I used to see these videos of MMA fighters beating up bullies. And so it's like MMA in the real world, what happens when it's used in a street fight. And I used to love these videos so much. I feel it's really interesting rewatching some of these videos. I don't know. Did I just freeze there? Sorry about that. I don't know if
just for like a second.
Now going back and watching some of these videos after I've watched the sport for a long time, very in depth, as I've trained myself, it's much more interesting to pick apart and watch the fighting that goes down. Because I used to just look at it in awe and be like, oh my God, mixed martial arts is this secret weapon, something crazy when you can wield it, you can just annihilate anybody. And now I'm I can watch with a little bit more of a skilled eye. So I thought we'd go through some of my favorite street beefs, if you will, street fights where MMA is used.
Did you ever see Bully Beatdown?
Well, what is Bully Beatdown exactly?
So Bully Beatdown is where they would it was on MTV. It was Jason Mayhem Miller was the host of it. Essentially, they'd bring in pro MMA fighters. I had a couple buddies, really good buddies. Ben Lagman, Darren Cruikshank, my college roommate, were on it. Darren fought in the UFC. Ben fought for Strikeforce. They'd bring these professional fighters on the line into the cage, and they'd have to do 3 rounds. So the first round was wrestling and grappling, or maybe it was just 2 rounds, wrestling and grappling. And then the second round was full MMA. And these bullies would, for however long they made it, they would make X amount of dollars. And man, they got their asses whooped.
I like that, but see, that's great. That's the beauty of this sport, is to check people. It can make the weak strong. There's that element of, and I'm going to show you some of these videos that are truly amazing. It puts a lot of these guys who are jerks, who are trying to antagonize and be bullies, it puts them in their place. So that's the really beautiful part about martial arts. By the way, I want to make a quick announcement before we jump into all the topics, and that is we have a huge milestone, bigger than hitting 500 subscribers, in my opinion. We not only hit 500 subs, but we also achieved 3,000 hours of watch time within the last year, which means the channel has finally been monetized. Now, that doesn't mean we get AdSense just yet, ad rev just yet, but that's on the horizon. We still have more work to do there, but we're coming for that milestone as well. But what's really cool is we can now receive super chats. Not putting any pressure on you guys. No worries if you want a super chat or not. But what super chats are is where you can donate 99 cents or $1.99 to give us a special shout out, etc. So that just got activated, and we're so excited because we've been kind of really putting a lot of time and effort into this channel, especially over the last few months, and it looks like it's paying off. It looks like more people are joining along for the ride. Now we've got monetization activated. Somebody commented on the channel 6 days ago, man, you guys have the best job in the world. I'm like, well, it's not really a job yet, right? We're just doing this more for fun, but it seems like now that's what it's turning into. So it's super cool. We just wanted to thank everybody because it's because of all the subscribers and the view time and the watch time that we're getting that we have achieved and unlocked this milestone on YouTube. So we want to say thank you, Celine. Thank you, Western Mass Climber. This has been super cool. And thank you, anybody.
Western Mass Climber, by the way, he wants to be referred to as Western, not Western Mass Climber. He wrote me a message and told me to tell you that.
Got it. Okay, so Western, thank you so much, and we really appreciate you guys showing up week after week to watch us chop it up and talk mixed martial arts. So thank you guys so much. Super chats activated. We're very excited. Okay, anyways, let's get into the topics for today, and we got some fun ones. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, which is really, really interesting, and James Lynch does these shows where, and he hasn't done, I think, a second one yet, but in his first one, he'll ask like professional fighters, what do you think about certain matchups? And I find those really interesting. Now, one place where it went totally haywire and totally wrong, which I felt like it was wrong, was when they were asking everybody about the Hamzat versus Robert Whitaker matchup, and it was like vast majority people, including you. No, I mean, you guys thought Robert Whitaker because Hamzat, his inactivity and whatnot. But usually, I feel like those videos are actually really good barometers for how a fight's going to turn out. The reason why I found this interesting is because when I think about the fight and the matchup between Umar and Merab, I don't know. I feel like Umar is just so heavily favored. I feel like he is a substantially better striker. And again, coming from his background and the people that he trains with, and obviously his grappling skills, I just don't see Merab really having much of an advantage. And you train with Merab, so you know this better. Maybe you can speak on it. I don't see necessarily, to me, Merab really having a huge advantage in any one particular area in that matchup. And it does kind of seem like Merab didn't really want to fight him, maybe because he sensed that it was a tricky matchup. I could be wrong about that. But yet when you watch this episode on James Lynch, the fighters are split. I think it was 5-5, 5 for Merab, 5 for Umar, maybe even 5 for Merab, 4 for Umar. I can't remember. Austin Bashi actually is on that episode, and we're going to talk about him later. He picked Merab. So, Justin, I want to turn it over to you. You trained with Merab. You've seen Umar. You saw him beat Corey Sandhagen. You know what a skilled fighter he is. I mean, can you shed a little bit more light? Like, what is it specifically, in your opinion, about Umar that gives you and other fighters this confidence that at UFC 311 he's going to come away victorious?
I mean, the simple fact that he's undefeated. He's been in the UFC. He's fought tough guys. He's undefeated. Nobody's figured out his puzzle yet. Nobody's figured out his game yet. Now, where I think Merab comes in and has, I'm not going to say an advantage, but where I want to see this fight go is Merab has such a high output and he has so many takedown. I mean, man, he had like 50 takedown attempts against Peter Yan. It was something ridiculous. I can't remember. Maybe it was Jose Aldo. I can't remember. But he had some absurd number, and to have that kind of output is just incredible. I think Umar is very, very skilled. Obviously, he's undefeated. Obviously, I think he's going to be the favorite in the fight. But can he match the pace, let alone outwork the pace of Merab? And I think that's what the fight's going to come down to.
And it's a very interesting question. We've seen a lot of guys use pace and cardio as a weapon. I'm like, this fight is so interesting to me and so fascinating. I don't really know how it's going to play out, but that's what makes it interesting. And the fact that so many other professional fighters, what's up, Lane? So many professional fighters are picking Merab to win, whereas I just didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought it was going to go landslide the other way for Umar, but the fact that so many people are picking Merab for that reason, because of that unknown factor and because of the pace he can put on it, the aggression, his relentlessness and the takedowns, it's just a very interesting matchup. And then the other question is, what's going to happen when they get on the ground? Is Merab going to be able to hold him? I think most people are saying that they believe Umar's submissions and jiu-jitsu is stronger than Merab's. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, because I think Merab typically doesn't generally seem to be go for that many submissions. It's more control and some ground and pound in there. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, and I think this is becoming the more popular fight, I think, than if we look at Islam versus Arman. And another interesting thing, if you look at James Lynch did another video asking professional fighters what they think about the Arman versus Islam matchup. It was like 17-2 people picking Islam, which I think is a little unfair for Arman, but like, it's not. I don't even think it's a slight against Arman. I think the fact is people just believe Islam is essentially invincible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you more interested? Is there one fight you're more interested in versus the other, or are you kind of like equally split between your interest level?
I like to see the best pound for pound guy in the world go, and right now Islam is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. I mean, obviously, Merab, he's trained at Extreme Couture. I'm not going to say we're buddies, and I don't want to make the false, connotation that we hang out on the weekends. We don't do that. I mean, we're high and by. We knuckle when we walk by. Merab's just a great guy, and I think the reason guys are taking Umar, for the simple fact he's undefeated. He's beaten everybody that's been placed in front of him. Merab, on the other hand, man, has such a high output, and he is the champ. And people have looked on him. I didn't think he could beat Peter Yan. I didn't think he was going to beat Jose Aldo. And just to have that kind of output, man, and Umar obviously can win the fight. And here's another thing too. Something I want to mention is you mentioned Merab is more of a takedown and control guy. He's not going for a lot of submissions. He will go for ground and pound. With that being said, when you're not going for submissions, you're holding position, you're holding your fundamentals of not getting submitted, because when you're going for submissions, you're essentially opening yourself up to get submitted or to escape, because you have to take pressure off, you have to put pressure on, you have to get certain grips to go for certain submissions.
Right.
Merab doesn't do that. He holds position. So I think he's going to be very hard to submit, from that standpoint of just his base is very, very strong. And the guy, man, he has no, it's, you're going to have to put him to sleep or break his bones for him to tap. The guy's not, he worked so hard to get to the championship level. He worked so hard
Yes.
to win that championship fight against Sean O'Malley. He's not tapping out to any bum submissions.
What a long road Merab has gone on. Yeah, man, I don't know how to. Yeah, I'm kind of split down the middle in terms of what's going to happen. I don't even want to make a pick, to be honest. Even as we get closer, I may abstain from making a pick and just see what happens. But that's what's going to make it so fun. That's going to be the same weekend we are in Montana. We're going to kind of miss it live, unfortunately, but we'll watch it back and make sure to comment on it. So, anyways, moving on. That is our first topic for today. Number 2, a very interesting beef, going back to my favorite guy, right, on YouTube, one of my favorites, MMA Guru. Now, this is a very interesting beef that I wanted to talk to you about because, we've seen Colby Covington talk a lot of smack about what's his name, Ian Gary, right? He went at Ian Gary pretty aggressively, talked a lot of smack against him, but then refuses to fight him, probably because that's a fight that he believes he would lose. Now we're getting into some sort of interesting similar territory with a YouTuber that he's starting to talk a little bit of smack to, but I don't think he's going to go much deeper than this, because I think just like he's kind of scared of Ian Gary, I think he's going to be way too scared of starting an online beef with MMA Guru, because the MMA Guru will smoke him. And MMA Guru has already said, like, Colby, if you don't chill out, he's like, I got some nukes that I'm ready to drop on you. I don't want to do it because he's actually a fan of Colby. But anyways, let me play you a little bit of this. I know you're not the biggest fan of MMA Guru, but this is I don't know, it's just kind of an interesting beef that seems to be unfolding. So check this out.
He's grown on me a little bit. I mean, he's not my number one choice, but he's grown on me a little bit.
All right. Well, I think he's going to grow on you more now. Watch this.
So I made a video about Colby Covington 7 days ago, and it was about the way that he handled the loss to Joaquin Buckley.
Oh, boy.
And it's fair to say that Colby Covington is not too fond of that video. I don't know if he's seen it, because he mentioned something that I'm going to show you at the end of today's video, the last clip, where it does kind of show that he had a video, but he's been informed about the video I made criticizing his response to his loss, and he's not happy with it whatsoever. He's had a lot of things to say about me, and we're going to go through some of those things in today's video. There's also another moment here where he talks about me again, sir, and this one really hurts. This one really does hurt, because I'm a big fan of Colby Covington, you guys. I've been a big fan of Colby Covington for a very long time. In fact, before I even get into what Colby had to say, Colby's maybe one of the key reasons as to why I even started.
Okay, so what he then says, I'm going to unmute you, Justin. Sorry, there were some kids I was picking up in the background.
Yeah, there's kids running around right in front of me. It's like, what the hell?
So the thing is what he goes on to say, and I'll kind of like summarize it for you guys, is that Colby Covington is actually why MMA Guru started his channel years ago when he was in, I think he was matched up against Robbie Lawler. I can't remember, but there people were saying, wait, do we want Colby Covington, a guy who talks trash like this, who's so negative? Is he good for the UFC? And a lot of people were saying he wasn't. And the MMA Guru was like, these guys are idiots. Of course he's good for the UFC. He's different. He's doing something unique. He's stirring the pot. Let's get somebody in there that's actually saying non-traditional things in a press conference. So of course he's good for us. So from that, he started his channel, fast forward for 4 or 5 years or whatever it's been. And now he's like one of the biggest voices in the sport. So it's kind of cool. So he has a soft spot for him. Now, MMA Guru actually made a very honest video about Colby, but this again goes to Colby just being like that guy, just not, hate to say it, just like not that bright of a guy in the way that he kind of goes about things. He actually was mostly praising him in the fight. We saw what happened to him against Joaquin Buckley, and MMA Guru was like, look, Colby, you got to get back out there, be active. You could win this fight. You could turn this into something. I want you to stay on top. Let's hopefully you get a fight against Ian Gary or Wonderboy Thompson, and let's get something moving here so you stay in the division. We want you in the division. But of course, Colby just heard that from fans that MMA Guru was talking smack about him, which he wasn't really. And he got all heated. And then he started saying these negative things about MMA Guru. Now, what he said is he goes, Oh, MMA Guru saying stuff about me. Yeah, he doesn't really have two legs to stand on. I mean, he's never done anything in his life. The only thing he's done is lose a 10-8 battle to diabetes. So he's just like ripping into MMA Guru. And like MMA Guru is like, dude, why are you coming at me? I was actually, if you watched the whole video, which you probably didn't, I'm sure he didn't. He's like, I was actually praising you and saying you could add a lot to the division. You just need to stay active and whatever. But he's like, but Colby, if I hope we don't go this route because I'm a big fan of yours, but if we go this route, I'm gonna drop some nukes on you. I got some stuff that I can hit you pretty hard with. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it if you press me. Now, you know me. You know how I like the drama. I hate to admit it because I feel kind of lame about the fact that I like it so much, but I can't help it. If this goes down, dude, this will be hilarious. I think this would be so funny if they get into a beef, but I don't know if they would. I gotta ask you, Justin, as a fighter. I mean, this is sort of like out of this realm of fighting because MMA Guru is not a fighter. But I mean, do you agree with me? Is this kind of like the fact that this is happening? Is this intriguing to you, or is this like total
Oh, I
nonsense?
love the drama behind the scenes, man. There's no questions asked, especially like, I mean, Guru. I don't know, man. I think he takes a shallow approach on a lot of his videos. I guess
Yeah,
just the John Jones videos stick out to me. Really, they
yeah.
put a sour taste in my mouth going after
Me
his
too.
personal lifestyle.
Me
Um,
too.
but
I agree.
in this instance where he's kind of praising Colby, and Colby's such a sensitive little rat that he has to go after him after he's being praised. Just shows you the kind of guy Colby is. And again, maybe he just heard from somebody that he's talking shit about him and didn't actually watch the video. And if someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, this guy's talking shit about you," I'll say, "Yeah, fuck him too." Without knowing all the details. But I mean, as time goes on, we're gonna know all the details.
Yeah, I hope this builds into something because it's just funny. Like, and especially to go against somebody like this, where dude, MMA Guru annihilates anybody who he's gone against. He's even annihilated Ariel Helwani. He's gone after successfully. Just like pretty much, John Jones didn't pick a beef with him. I didn't really like that. I felt like that, as you mentioned, going after his personal life and going so deep at him. That's not. I'm not a fan of that. But if you're gonna bully MMA Guru, he'll come back at you tenfold. And with somebody like Colby, one of the coolest things I think we see in MMA is a bully getting bullied. That was, I've talked about this before. That's why I think Conor versus Floyd Mayweather was such an intriguing fight and build up, because we saw Floyd as being such an antagonistic like bully in general, doing all these nonsensical things for his entire career, and then Conor comes in and just dominates him on the mic. Like, that was so satisfying. So this would be something similar. I hope it happens, and I hope Colby does try and talk smack, but I almost can guarantee he won't, because Colby knows if he's gonna lose, he like runs away, as we saw with Ian Gary. So I think we're gonna see the same thing. And guys, please know, I am literally respectful. Justin, I'm respectful of pretty much every fighter under the sun. But I've come to a point with Colby where I just no longer respect him as a person, and it is what it is. I'm not gonna go out of my way to trash him, but like, I'm just gonna speak openly and honestly, and I'll say negative things because I think these negative things are warranted. So that's that. But that's what I feel about that. I know Justin's got a hard stop in 12 minutes. We're going to keep rolling now. Very, very, very excited to talk to you guys about Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi is debuting on January 11th. Okay, I'm just double checking that I got that date right. I believe and it's going to be at the what's it called? The Apex Center, I think. Yeah, January 11th. So even if this fight card may seem underwhelming, I can't remember the headliner fight. It's a female fight. I can't remember who, but whoever it is, dude, Austin Bashi debuting. He's 13-0. Okay, he's got a 13-0 professional record coming into the UFC 23. He's so humble, dude, and he's just like well-spoken. You can tell he's just like a responsible, good kid, good head on his shoulders, and he's from my hometown. First fighter, I think, ever in the UFC from West Bloomfield, Michigan, which
Darren Cruikshank was.
Oh, darn it. Okay. So I guess not the first. But anyways, this guy, there's so much hype behind this process. We got to get him on the show. I want to interview him and reach out to him before his fight because, maybe the West Bloomfield connection, he'd be down to do the show. I'd love to. But let me show you a couple of clips. Now, I sent you earlier, right, Justin? I sent you a couple clips of Austin Bashi. I'm not sure if you got to see it, but like,
I'm very familiar with Austin Bashi, man.
oh,
We both are on the Michigan scene. I mean,
tell
yeah. We there was actually one time, earlier in his career, when people were asking if I'd fight him, as I was on the up and up and he was on the up and up, man. The kid is a stud, man. When he went into Dana White Contender Series and he did what he did, man, I was so impressed. And I realized like this guy's the real deal. Young, hungry, he's well rounded, he has great coaching.
yes.
This guy, I mean, he has everything written in the stars to be successful, especially for Michigan. Michigan produces such incredible fighters. We have such great gyms out there. Michigan Top Team, Scorpion Fighting System, Detroit Jiu-Jitsu, MASH Fight Team, man. Kara Rose out there. I mean, some of the best trainer, James Lee's out there. Don Richards, man. They got so many great Nick Bismack, man. I always like to give all the great coaches praise, man. And Oshi's camp is just incredible. And the sky's the limit for this kid. And when I saw him at his recent showing on Dana White Contender Series, I realized this kid has serious potential to be a threat in the division.
Okay, so I want to point out a couple other things. The highlights that I saw, the majority of his finishes were by submission, but in 2022 he had a TKO, as well as in June 1st, 2024, just this last summer he did another TKO. He's that new breed of fighter that's extraordinarily well-rounded. So while he's got tremendous ground game, his striking's amazing. I've been really impressed with a lot of the kicks that I've seen him throw, and that's it, man. He's the future. And some people are comparing him to Raul Rosas Jr., and he doesn't like that comparison. I've seen him say, "Nah, like, I'm not really," yeah, maybe you could say from how young he is, but his fighting style, he doesn't like that comparison. Now, I want to ask you one thing. They said, "Hey, would you ever go and train at other camps?" You know, like I was thinking, hey, maybe he might come down and train at Extreme Couture for like a month or different well-known gyms. He said no. He said, nope, I got everything I need in Michigan with my coaches and my trainers. Now, as you mentioned, Michigan MMA is tremendous. There's amazing coaches down there. But is that a mistake for a young fighter to not even come spend like a week at Extreme Couture with all the amazing professionals at your gym? Or what do you think?
Absolutely, man. And he's going to realize that that's a mistake. It's you got to travel out. You got to get new gyms. Every gym is doing something different. Every gym is known for something. And, you know, it's always good to go, you know, cherry pick, you know, a couple of those things from their gym. And then you bring them back, and it's how you build your gym. You know what I mean? And the reason I moved out to Vegas it wasn't just for coaching. I had incredible coaching, as I'm sure Austin does too, but it's for training partners. When you're constantly training with the same guys day in and day out, months and weeks and possibly years, especially for him, if you're dedicated, like, you get the same looks. You need different looks. You need new training partners. You need a coach to say, hey, this is how we do it here. And then you can add it to your game plan or take it back to your gym, show it to your coach. It's how you build as a fighter. It's how you build your coaching staff, and it's how you build your team. You need to go out. You need to experience different styles, and you need to bring back to your team.
All right, fair point. We're going to try and get him on the show. I think 2 Michigan guys with the Michigan MMA podcast, I think we can do it. So we're going to try. By the way, thank you guys so much for joining, everybody. I just want to let everybody know, if you're a regular or if you're new here, we got super chats finally enabled. This is a huge milestone in the history of our channel and of our show. That means the channel is now officially monetized. I saw that Western mentioned, hey, he wanted to join our memberships. We haven't set those up yet. We're going to set those up either next week or the following week after. I got to wait till we're both back home and I'm back in town. I'm just still visiting my family. We're going to get that set up for you guys. So this is very exciting. No pressure. If you want to send us a super chat, you can, but no pressure either way. We're just happy to do the show and happy to have all you guys join us on this December 27th, even though there's not a ton going on, but hey, there's still fun stuff to talk about as always. All right, moving on to the last topic before we wrap, because I know Justin's got to go in 7 minutes. MMA and street fights. Okay, we're going to end on a fun one today. This is, again, something that I still like to watch videos like this because, as I mentioned, one of the mystical, magical things about mixed martial arts and training and whatever discipline, even if it's just wrestling or just Muay Thai or just these different things, it turns the weak into the strong. You can acquire a skill set. You know, my niece and nephew, by the way, they also train karate. And I tell them, this is your ticket to gaining almost like a superpower. God forbid, if you ever need to use it or defend yourself, you have that in your back pocket. And I want to show one of my favorite compilation videos of MMA playing out in real life. And I thought it'd be cool to do it because I never kind of watched it with Justin. So I thought it'd be cool to do it with Justin. And maybe we can even get a little play-by-play here of what you think of the technique shown in some of these fights. So hold on. Let's see if I can. Sorry, the Wi-Fi is really bad here. It keeps kind of going out. Let's see if we can get it in. And all right, 1 second. So 1 second. Here we go. All right, let's check it out. So this is one of my favorites too, because the two guys that are squaring off, you can see one guy's way smaller. I would guess one guy looks like 135, maybe 140. The other guy looks like 160, 170. So there's a significant weight advantage. And this is one of my favorite things about mixed martial arts. It levels the playing field so dramatically. And you can see the bigger guy right here. This is the bigger guy. You can see how cocky and arrogant he is, and he thinks he's going to smoke this little dude. Just watch this. It's amazing to watch this bully just have all his confidence drained throughout the fight. Let's check this out.
Comes down to southpaw stance.
And there's this guy right here. Yeah, 10 feet away. No distance management. It's amazing. Okay. Did you see that jab? That was an amazing jab. He was like 7 feet away and threw that jab.
If I had one thing to say, we got to talk about distance management.
But he's throwing that lead hook with some power. But yeah, you can clearly see like he's not training or sparring. I imagine he's not training or sparring properly in gym. But like he's short every time with that hook. But he's throwing that lead hook with some power, right?
I mean, the guy doesn't look like neither of them look like they've trained too much. I mean, maybe taken a couple beginner classes, but still it matters and it does show up. If you've done a couple sparring classes, as you know, you're going to be better than the guy that hasn't.
Exactly. Okay, tell me what you think about the smaller guy, the guy who looks like he's trained kickboxing. Check this out. The thing is, he's like telegraphing his kicks so obviously, and he's like winding up there and so slow. Now that I think like when I used to watch this, I used to be so impressed by that kid, but his kicks are terrible. But the guy just has no clue. He's like not expecting a kick whatsoever, so they're landing every time. And all he's doing is he's just throwing a hard rear leg kick and then following it up with like a punch to the face. The guy's just like caught off guard, right? Would you agree that that's pretty much all that's?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Okay, let's keep watching. This is so funny. And then look, he's like scared now. It's so funny. This guy was instigating. This guy was starting the fight. Now look at the fear in his face.
He's backing up now. Big head kick coming. Let's go. Ooh, leg kick.
Yeah, another leg kick. Those leg kicks. And again, that's a great thing too. I think you tell me if you agree or disagree, but I feel like if you got into a real situation, most people are not expecting kicks. They're not expecting knees. They're not expecting elbows. So some of those moves that we learn in traditional Muay Thai, I think will just catch the majority of people who are just random street fighters completely off guard. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Justin?
I love kicking people in the leg. Yeah, I love kicking people in the leg in the street fights.
Okay, here we go. Okay, it's pretty much over now. Now let's go on to the next one. This one's crazy. Hold on. Okay, watch this. Ready? So now this is a guy bullying these two guys that are just trying to move boxes. And you can tell the guy in the black shirt has trained MMA in particular because just watch. It's amazing.
No. You ain't that wrong, bro. Fuck guys.
We squabble. We call that squabbling, by the way.
And the cool thing is the guy's trying to ignore him. He's like, yo, leave us alone, go away. He's trying to get him to go do his own thing, and the guy won't relent. And this is a situation where if you're cornered, what are you going to do, right? Essentially, there comes a point where you have to protect yourself. So this guy, like, that's what I like about these videos is people using it, in my opinion, for good, not for just to be a bully, you know?
Leave him alone. Let's go, nigga. Hey, bring him out. Come on.
Oh, nice shot. Down, ragdoll him. Bitch.
Done. I know you like that with the double leg, right?
Love it. Love it.
So I like when I watch this, I'm like, oh, I gotta learn. I need to learn a little bit of wrestling because it's just.
Hey, come on in, man. I know a guy that's at a wrestling tournament right now that knows a little bit. So.
That's all you need is just that quick double leg. I know you got to go in 1 minute. Actually, we can wrap right now. Those are the two best ones, anyways. The rest.
Yeah,
of them
I
are
do have to go. I don't mean to cut you guys off. I coach high school wrestling, and I'm at a tournament right now. So
no worries. All right,
I got to
guys.
run back in, guys. I appreciate you guys. Hey, guys, everyone watching, man, appreciate you making our channel monetized. Again, like Huzaifa said, don't feel pressured for the super chats. We're just having a great time doing it. I love doing the show twice a week, and hopefully, or I shouldn't say hopefully, but this week we'll be pumping out a ton of videos, guys. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Take it easy. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining. We will see you next week. Take it easy. Peace. Later.